Welcome to the latest edition of the Los Angeles City Section Boys Volleyball Podcast. I am at Palisades High School, the best team in the Los Angeles City Section, here with Scott Stewart, not your twin brother Jeff. You are Scott Stewart. Scott, what's it been like growing up with your twin brother Jeff? You guys are going to go to the same school, playing volleyball with him. Just what's that been like for you guys to go through it all together?
It's definitely been pretty nice just because we do everything together, so I know I won't be late to practice because he always remind me and push me. But sometimes he does get a little angry at me and I could get mad at him back, and it sometimes it brings back from the games to home, so he'll be grilling me at home all the time. But other than that, it's been pretty easy.
Let's talk Palisades a little bit. You guys are 15-1. The latest Los Angeles City Section poll has you at number 1. How's the year going for you so far? Seems like it's going pretty well.
It definitely is going pretty well. It's just we have a lot of nagging injuries. Not really from people just getting hurt, but it's just over time, people's knees are starting to bother them. We've also had Marcus, who's our starting setter, who's been out the entire season. So it's definitely been a change for us to go without him, but hopefully if he's back, then we'll be even stronger and we'll be a lot better and it'll be a lot more fun. So
I know the one loss you guys had, it came to Alamany, and in a couple weeks you're going to play another tournament where you'll face some of the best teams in Southern California. Obviously, you want to win every game. What's it going to be like when you're going up against some of these teams who are the best of the best?
It'll definitely be more competitive just because we know that they're better than us, and most teams we've played, we're a higher seed. But so for these games, we have really nothing to lose. It's them that are the higher seed, so we just want to upset some teams, show teams what we can do. And it's definitely, since it's my brother and I's last year, Jeff and I will be playing our hardest, so we're coming to play on Saturday.
You guys had offers to play in college, elected not to. Akil's looking at a bunch of schools. Marcus, UCLA. Miles, UCLA. You're practicing against some of the best kids in the whole state each and every day. What's that like?
Well, it's a lot nice. It's pretty nice because in practice I'm getting a college level experience. Absolutely. Just in practice. So I'm getting pushed nonstop. It's nice to be around those guys because all lots of coaches are coming to our courts. But yeah, it wasn't really something I was looking to do in college unless I got an offer from a school I would have gone to without volleyball. So that was just the biggest decision for me.
On the flip side, in league play for you guys, the teams, they're not quite at your level. Some very talented teams. Take nothing away from University. Take nothing away from some of those other teams. How do you stay motivated, though, going up against that kind of competition when on some weekends you're playing some of these premier teams?
It's definitely in practice, and it comes from sometimes from Carlos. He has to push us in practice because we do get pretty good reps against each other in practice. But there's always those teams in our city, or in our league rather, that have some really good guys that can really block us and push us. So it really depends on who we're playing. But other than that, practice is the most important for us.
What are your team goals for this season? What do you guys want to accomplish?
I definitely want to compete in state, but there's lots of roadblocks we have to do to get there. We definitely have to win our league first off. Then we got to win city, and then we can go to state and then do well. So I would definitely love to get past first round because all 4 years I've been here, I haven't gotten past the first round.
I know you've been dealing with some nagging injuries, the whole team, like you mentioned, but have you guys had fun this year?
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
How so?
Home games when we get packed crowds and all of our friends are there. It's just very fun to play in front of your friends, and we just enjoy the game itself, so it's just a lot of fun. And we love each other, too. So,
what are you going to remember most about your 4 years playing Palisades volleyball?
A specific moment, or?
Specific moment, or just anything that 20 years from now you'll think back in your high school days, wow, I really had a lot of fun doing this.
Well, definitely all the wins we've had, the rings and medals, but probably one moment was my freshman year. We had Granada in our house, and it was a playoff game. It was just packed both sides. And the whole entire day I was super nervous, couldn't focus in school. All I was thinking about was the game. Once I got in there, I was just super relaxed. I was having lots of fun. And I'll just remember that just because that set me up for the next 4 years because I knew that I could handle it.
Scott, the last question I want to ask you. You mentioned earlier how you've made it to states before, but you haven't made it past the first round. What does this group need to do to get over that hump?
Well, we definitely need to perform in these tournaments like the one up in Santa Barbara just because the past 4 years we haven't done so well at those tournaments, so they seed us pretty low, and then we end up playing the #1 team first round, and then that's the best team we could play. So if we get a good seed, then we can play a 4 seed or 5 seed, and then we can get past the first round and then possibly get to the finals. So yeah.
All right, that's Scott Stewart from Palisades Volleyball. Scott, thank you so much.
Good dynamic, and let's have a good end to our practice. I thought we had a good film session. Let's have a good end to the practice.
We heard from Palisades senior Scott Stewart. Now it's time to hear from the head coach, Carlos Gray. Coach, you guys are 15-1, the #1 team in the city section according to the latest poll. How's the season gone so far?
It's been good. We're really struggling with injuries, and we're finally starting to get some guys healthy, which is a big thing for this group. Once we start getting guys healthy and get our rhythm back, I think the season could finish, strong. It's obviously not how you start, it's how you finish. We're doing okay.
In league play, teams like University, Westchester, they're coming for you, but let's be honest, they're not really at that same level as you guys are. How do you keep the team motivated and stay positive during a long league schedule?
Focus on practice, number one, first and foremost. Give small goals to guys about their individual play. But somebody like Uni or like Venice, some of those schools are, they're coming with some pretty decent guys. Just because they don't have as many touches doesn't mean they don't have the high-level athletes. Not to mention the fact there's some great coaches in our league, and they develop guys. Like Uni comes in here again on Monday, and I'm expecting a battle because Memo does his job, and those guys are going to improve, and we're expecting a challenge.
Everyone I've talked to today has talked about how important practice is for you guys. I mean, Marcus is committed to UCLA. Miles is committed to UCLA. You have guys, other players looking at UCLA, players who could play anywhere in college, it seems like. What's practice like when these guys, who are some of the best players in California, are going at it every day?
It can be very, very fun. It can also be very, very frustrating because they don't play up to the potential. So with this group, I haven't had that as much. I haven't had to push and push and push. But I do have to make sure I maintain a certain level of intensity in these practices and don't let them coast. Because these guys coasting can play at a decent level. But in order for them to improve, they've got to push each other here, and they've got to continue to get better. The good thing is they're competitors, so they push each other, and it gets heated sometimes. You get guys chirping a little bit, and you have to remind them that they're teammates. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
The one game you guys lost came against Alamany. What did you learn from that game, and how can you build on that performance? I know it was a little bit ago.
The most important thing for us out of that game is to understand our ball control is our key. We were trying to elevate and terminate with a team that was bigger than us. We have to make sure that we're serving tough and receiving serve well first and foremost. If we do that, then the rest will take care of itself.
How would you describe your coaching style?
I'm pretty much a cooperative coach. When dealing with these guys, there's such a high volleyball IQ here that I'm making more fine adjustments, and I'm getting input from them constantly. I have certain core values as a coach, and then I adjust other things based on the personality of the team. So with a group like this, I don't have to really, really ride them. I just have to maintain the focus and give them certain cues. Whereas other teams I've had in the past, I kind of had to be a little more of a disciplinarian and stay on top of them. So it adjusts based on what kind of people you have in your practice.
Let's have a little bit of fun now. I know spring break was a couple weeks ago. You took a trip to London. How was that? I know your son was there. Was that a great trip for you guys?
It was amazing. My son and I had a great time. That was our first trip abroad together. We went to London, went to Amsterdam, and it was just a great time, being there with my son. And it was great to get away and recharge. You get out of the gym for a little while, you recharge the batteries, you come back in motivated and ready to rock and roll.
I know you like to sing the national anthem sometimes. When I come for your girls' games, I've seen you sing, but this year it doesn't seem like the guys are as into it as some of those girls were. When can I expect you to sing that anthem again?
If they want me to sing it, I'll sing it. It's not a thing for me. I grew up singing in church as a little kid, and so it's not a big deal. But with guys, they're not that impressed with it. Guys are like, we're all right. So it's fine.
Hey, I thought it sounded pretty good between me and you. Two more questions for you, Coach. On the girls' side this past season, championship game against Granada Hills, you fall short, but the games that you won in that match, they were blowouts, and then you lost some really tight ones, and you guys were the favorite in that game. How do you avoid a similar situation playing out on the boys' side?
It's tough. You just have to push the right buttons in those certain things. That loss, and I don't want to sound, but cliche here, but I put that one on me. As a coach, you have to be able to account for 3 to 5 pivotal points in a match. And I don't think I made the proper adjustments. I think that I need to be better in those moments. There is no way you can beat a team 25-7 and 25-16 in the 2 games you win and lose a match. So I kind of put that one on me. I took that hard. I went back and took a close look, a very hard look at myself and the preparation that I had for that match. And, you know, just make that promise to yourself you're going to come out and be better. So that's what I do.
Last question for you, Coach. I know with this group, they've accomplished a lot, but they haven't made it past the first round of the state tournament. How can this year's team get over the hump?
First and foremost, we've got to do something besides be the 8th seed.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I've won 2 city titles, and both times we played the eventual state champion in the first round. If we maybe even get into the middle of the bracket, I think we have a chance. Now, a lot of that is going to depend on what we do in our, well, first and foremost, before anything, it is not a foregone conclusion by any stretch of the imagination that we win the city. Okay, there are some great teams in that West Valley that are waiting for us. I mean, you've got great coaches at Chatsworth, you've got El Camino, you've got Granada Hills. Those teams are battle tested because they play each other all the time in league. But if we are fortunate enough to win city and we place well in these high-level tournaments, like we have Karch-Karai TLC this weekend, if we're able to do that and play against some of those high-level opponents and beat them, then maybe we get a 5, a 4, as opposed to an 8, and that gives us an opportunity to play somebody and maybe get a win.
That's Coach Carlos Gray from Palisades. Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.